Hey everyone, and welcome back to Small Engine Edge. Today we're going to talk about what I think is one of the most important business things, and that is being able to pivot. Not getting stuck in the mindset that whatever choice you've made is the best choice, but being able to adapt to whatever the changing conditions are. Whether it's with employees or whether it's with inventory or changing demand, you've got to be able to recognize these and not just react to them, but preemptively make those decisions to better your business and continue to grow as you go along. And that's whether you're starting from the garage or whether you've got a commercial location. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons as we go along if you enjoyed the content. So pivoting, and what that means to me is the ability to adapt and to be able to figure out exactly which route you need to go next. So you've started a new business, whether it's out of your garage or it's commercial, and you're not getting enough customers, for instance. You've got to really focus and target exactly what is needed in your area. Say you're just doing zero turns and riding mowers currently, or just doing chainsaws and trimmers and two-cycle stuff. If that's not working for you there, you're going to have to branch out into different areas of repair. Say you're good at UTVs or ATVs or some other sort of equipment that is used in the area, you can do that, and you can research these very quickly with a quick online search in today's markets. It's very easy to identify, and sometimes we make the wrong decisions and think, hey, there's a big demand for this here, but until you actually get out there, you don't really know. Maybe there's a huge demand on the consumer side versus the commercial side. But customers are finicky sometimes, especially with changing economic conditions. Your goals may change, and the things that you need to focus on or equipment you need to kind of push that you repair may change. Add something. One of the big things I see people not capitalize on, electric tools are super simple to work on for almost anybody that knows how to work on a riding mower. It's very easy to do electrical testing on almost all of that equipment without any further type of training whatsoever. It's all about continuity and voltages. Super simple. If you do just a tiny bit of research on it, you'd be able to adapt very quickly into those areas. And that adds quite a bit of extra income, especially for us during the winter times. That kind of keeps us moving along, which is great. I've taught the guys here how to do those things who really had no electrical background before being taught. So whether it's what you're working on or the customers you're targeting, or a change in what customers' spending habits are, or a change in weather, there's a drought or whatever, you've got to either focus on those different areas, maybe do some different marketing, or pivot again and figure out some of those different ways to make cash. We've had some videos on doing sales of used parts and stuff. That's a great one too. Or investing back into the company by either purchasing equipment to sell later during those slower times, or doing building upgrades or upgrades that are going to save you a lot of time. Either way, that adaptation and being able to recognize when those times are is what's key. If you can't pinpoint those and you just continue going down that same path, that's when places go out of business, because they just say, hey, my decision was best that I made, and it's not going right, but that's not my fault. I made the best decision there is. And you die on that hill. You don't continue to grow. You don't continue to move past that. Everybody thinks their decisions are right. That's just the way that it is. You've got to learn to admit defeat and admit when you're wrong in certain business situations. And that goes for whether it's with your employees, if you made the wrong decision there, or your processes with how your business runs, your accounting, your bookkeeping, your invoicing, your inventory. The list goes on and on and on with these things that we've really got to constantly be aware of and keep track of, and figure out what's selling, what's not selling, what's working, what's not working, and adapt on the fly to make sure that going forward, we're better at those things. If you ordered 500 of X belt or X pulley that you thought you were going to use a bunch of, air filters or whatever, and you don't use hardly any of those, well, next time, obviously you don't need that many air filters. But that can also come down to a change in what the equipment you're working on is. Briggs flatheads used to be around forever. We'd get, that was 75%, if not more, of the push mowers we got came in. Now I'd say it's probably 15 or 20%. Those engines are older and they're being phased out. Nobody wants to fix much of that stuff anymore because it's so old. And the problem comes down to the manufacturers also when they quit selling OEM parts. So anyone going to the dealer, the dealer's just telling them, hey, we can't get this carburetor anymore, when in reality, an aftermarket carb would work just fine and is $12 online. But anyway, excuse me, really focusing on all the different areas of business, whatever it is, and being able to admit defeat when you're wrong and see coming trends is going to help you a lot going forward in your business. You've really got to identify what those things are and identify what is and isn't working to stay afloat. Very good instance of that. When we started out here, we started out, the company business name when I actually made it was Individualized Farm Repair Services and Electric Motor Repair. Horrible name. That's a mouthful, something along those lines. It was this huge thing. I got business cards and everything made up. I realized real quick, you can't just go out to these different places that have grain bins and burners and stuff like that and market directly to them. It's not the people that the grain bins sit on that manage the farmland around it. I was shut down very quickly in that venture. It was kind of a spinoff of what my dad's company was. I was trying to continue that and start kind of the same business. Failed horribly, had no customers, didn't get anywhere. But I quickly pivoted into electric motor repair, air compressor repair, which ultimately led me to small engine repair. And that's what I continued with. So I pivoted to each of those to try to make the business work. And eventually I found my niche, and that's what you've got to do too. Maybe small engine repair isn't what you end up with. Maybe you end up with a scooter repair or electronics repair or something along that lines because they're all similar markets. And maybe there's a big need for one or the other that you have some skill in your area. We started off when we started the commercial location here. We thought we had plenty of space. So we started off with ATV and UTV and go-kart repair, branching into all those different areas. And we didn't realize how long that stuff was going to sit here before it was fixed. We were getting the stuff that was 20 years old, all the brake cables, the throttle cables, the tires were all dry rotted. Everything was just completely beyond repair, basically. Needed fully redone. And we'd be doing just the little things they wanted, one by one. So they'd sit here for months before they were actually done. We quickly realized, I'd say within the first year, that was a horrible idea. It took up too much space. Everything was too hard to move around. You'd have to drag these things in with flat tires that nobody wanted to fix. It was a nightmare. We had to pivot away from that and say, yep, we're shutting that part down. No more of that whatsoever. It was hard to get away from once we stopped. So think about all of the pros and cons of each thing that you're going to bring on before you actually jump headfirst into those. Some of those things may be great for your situation. If you're out in the middle of nowhere or you've got a garage or a barn operation with some land, that's great. You can have those things. You can drag them around. No issue on space. Here it's limited space, which most of you probably have that limited space. I always try to give some insight on things that I have learned much from over the years, and I hope this helps you to grow too in your endeavor, whatever it is, whether it's small engine repair or you branch out into something else. Business is business, and regardless of whether you're in this business exactly or not, it's the same concepts that drive every business forward. Hopefully this has helped you out again. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed the content, and have a great rest of your day.